What's going on YouTube? It is Adrian Hawkins of HawkFit. We are here at Lions Gym. We are back with Dr. Menya, continuing the series, Rehabbing an Injured Athlete. With that being said, let's jump right into it.
So one, what happens when people have a golfer elbow injury, they were hitting and they happen to hit the ground. And as they hit the ground, they sprain the medial epicondyle. So they're trying to hit, and as they hit, they hurt the medial epicondyle. That's the muscle that goes down here and turns that way. It's on the medial side. That's the same as the opposite if they're playing tennis and they hit a backhand, the lateral epicondyle. You have an epicondyle also down here in your knee, the medial or the lateral epicondyle. Those are the muscles that run and kind of spread out, but importantly they're right here. So what happens is as you are hitting, your hand gets caught and your knee, your medial elbow keeps going, keeps moving while your hand has been caught, and so you strain that insertion. When you're hitting, you heard that. That's what a medial epicondyle is. Lateral is if you're doing the backhand and you hurt your lateral epicondyle. I'll show you a diagram of it. The golfer's elbow affects the inside of and what it is. When it starts to hurt and it's burning and it's inflamed, it's called the medial epicondylitis, which is also called tendinosis. And if it hits the outside, then it's called the lateral epicondyle, and you can see right where it's attached to the antebrachium, or the upper humerus, the distal end of the humerus, because that's what helps you flex your arm. Now, bodybuilders, they do what with that? They do forearm, yeah,
wrist curls,
to strengthen that. So when you go and watch Adrian Hawkins videos, you'll see some of those. My forearm is probably not you. Popeye, you gotta go see his videos. So let's go talk about how we can treat that.
So we're gonna do an ice bath then.
Yeah.
And just the elbow?
Yeah, just the elbow. Put the whole arm in. There you go. Woo!
Oh! How long do we have to keep that in there for?
Let's look at his face, see how his face looks as he's breathing.
My college days are over. Ice baths are a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Can we come out?
Yeah, no, not yet. So that's the first thing that he does. And then the next thing that I will do is I'll do ultrasound.
All right.
So you can put your arm there. I'll go get more water. So what I want you to do, so look, you're gonna sit there, but I want you to see this before you sit. No, before you sit, right, so that you can correct that on there.
All right.
I want you to see these shatter the ice.
Okay, let's.
So I want you to see this, okay? So this is what's cooking his epicondylitis. So I'll put it under there. You see that? And watch what happens to the surface of the water. Do you see that? Can you see that? Do you see that? Can you see what it's doing? Okay. Do you see how it's cracking the ice? Look at that. It's moving the ice around. Look at that. Do you see what it does?
So apply that to the muscles?
Yeah, so that applies to the bone. It hits the bone and then goes and it's reflected and comes back from outside. So it goes, hits the bone, and then comes out, and that's what heals you.
All right.
So this does not affect the muscle, it affects the bone. If I left this in one spot long enough, it would be a red pool of blood. So that's why I have to move it around when you put your hand in there, because I could actually burn your bone.
All right.
Yeah. Now that you know that, let's go ahead. I mean, it's 1,000 vibrations a second, and the reason why we're doing underwater ultrasound is because I cannot. The surfaces on your arm are too irregular for me to be able to properly do an ultrasound on your elbow. Perfect.
Let's drop down and see what we can get.
So you
Put
see,
it back in the water?
Yeah, put it back. Grab your towel so that you're ready to, so it doesn't cut you down. Yeah. So as low as you can. So I cannot bring you out of. Oh. Okay. So here we are, and it's that elbow that hurts. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I am just running it along there, and it's only 1 minute that we need to do that. And if I leave it, I have to keep rotating, I have to keep moving it, because if I stop, I could put a hole through him, you know. Now you can go Google
This is
that.
painful. Painfully cold. The machine doesn't hurt, it's the ice that hurts.
It's the ice that's burning. But that's what we're trying to do. It's like a Tylenol. It's like a Tylenol on steroid. The arms get numb.
It's already numb.
Yeah, it goes into several stages. C, cold. B, burn. A, aching. N, numb. That's what we're trying to attain with it. There you go. Almost. You got 45 seconds. Can you hang? Can you hang?
I can hang.
All right.
I'm at 45 seconds?
Left. $30. So then I go on the medial, the epicondylitis, the epicondylitis side.
So while we're doing this, waves are going in.
Yeah. And they
through
hit
the muscle,
bone,
hit the bone.
And then they come out, and that's what's healing you.
And what are these waves doing to the bone?
These are called the ultrasound waves. What they do to the bone is they stimulate ionization, and that creates that movement in there. There, that's it. You can take it out.
All right.
That's called ultrasound underwater.
Very cold.
It's really good stuff for injuries in irregular surfaces. See, that's an elbow. And what I was saying is, it's hard for me it's hard for me to, it's not regular surface. And it has to be full contact, because if something comes out that way, if it's not full contact on it, making an even contact, I could wreck that, because there's small marbles in there that are vibrating at 1,000 movements a second, 1,000 just going, and it has to go somewhere. If I don't have contact with that, some kind of vacuum between this and the contact, that mechanical strength of it that goes out could shatter that metal. Ultrasound. Okay?
All right.
Don't do that at home. All right, so that's the first part. The second part of this, because is I could put current on it. I'll put current here and current there. That's the second part after the ultrasound. What the current does is, look at his hands. Look at what happens to his hands.
Let's see if I can bring this.
No, I got it. I got it. There. Look at what his hands. Just observe the hands. Observe the hand. No, you just relax there. Do you see what the hands are doing? I'm curling them. You see that? He's not controlling that at all. And that's what's attached to where the tendonitis, where the epicondylitis is happening. So because this keeps tugging on there, the pain is created on the insertion or the origin of that body of muscle, and then it goes into the insertion.
So right here and right on the outside is where a lot of bodybuilders will feel it.
Yeah.
Especially like bicep curls or anything. Skull crushers would be a big one. Anything moving the tendons.
Absolutely, yeah. And they only call it golfers because a lot of the injuries came from that. The bodybuilders are so stubborn. They hurt and they won't even come and say my elbows hurt. That's like, they say that's wasting time stuff. But really, a lot of bodybuilders also have that injury. They really do. So for me as a provider or as a physician, what I'll do is I'll constantly, I have to get in there and break the muscle that connects to the origin of that. So that's one way to do it. And I can feel the ropiness of it.
I'm laughing because he's got some farmer hands. They're digging in there. It's quite painful.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
So we do both sides because whatever happens here, this makes up for it. The lateral side makes up for it. So we have to do both sides at the same time.
So you feel the ropiness on this side?
Yeah, there's ropiness on that side too.
I'd be curious if you did this side, if you'd feel the same thing.
Yeah. Do you feel
because
that?
I feel that.
Yeah.
Ooh, you isolated something.
Yeah, it just relieves that. But those are the styles of fixing this injury. Now, if I'm not here with him, he has a nice strong knee that he can do what? That I can use, yeah. But then again, I don't know what I'm feeling, so that's not a very good way, but it's something that works when you don't have someone to help you. Otherwise, when I'm doing it, I know what I'm trying to feel for, so I know how to dig in a little bit better. I mean, I know what I'm feeling for, that's why. Okay, so that's one. So we did the ice, ultrasound, deep tissue release. But when you do deep tissue release, make sure that it's even. You do the lateral side also. You don't have to worry about the bicep. Why? Because that has nothing to do with the bicep, at least for the injury that we're dealing with. Never rub directly on where the origin of the epicondyles start if you have a hurting elbow. Why? Because there's a bursa there. A bursa is a little sac of water that kind of just cushions so that the muscle doesn't rub directly on the bone, especially as it flexes and extends. You want to be always on the belly of the tight muscle, because that muscle is so tight, and that's what's tugging on the origin, and that's what's creating the inflammation. All right? So I'm going to bring the other model that I'm going to use on there. So give me a second.
No problem.
Yeah. You can talk to them a little.
That water is extremely cold. It is not fun. 2 minutes in cold water, I could do it lower body, but upper body, I'm not about that life.
Our module, you can see it has grooves on it. And what I do is I rotate that so I can break the pattern of the arm. You know, you can. So of course we start with the lateral side, just rest it completely there. And I'm kind of just flattening, I'm breaking the ropiness, because there was ropiness that I felt in there too. So I'm using that there. Let's do the other arm so you can just get it even. I am not trying to break the muscle and completely detach it from its attachment. I just wanted to break the ropiness that's in there that I felt.
So you're using a light pressure on it?
I'm using a light pressure. Because sometimes when you use too much pressure, it will make it spasm more, and that's the negative effect that we're trying to do. So just right there. All right, and you can see his fingers, what the fingers are doing. The more I rotate there, so look at his fingers, yeah. Look at, see those fingers? Look at that. Because that's what connects them. These go out and they spread out and they run into your hands. And now after that, the last piece of it is, there's a brace I'm gonna get that I'm gonna put on there.
Oh man. The rolling is not as painful as the ice. But hopefully you're learning something. Hopefully it'll help. You get better one day at a time, recover one day at a time, and then you go back and hit your PR. And that's what it's all about. You build the better body that you're looking for.
Okay,
He's
so,
gonna get, all right.
yeah, so here, there's a brace that you wear. And what happens is, in here, you can see there's a little something in there. I wonder what that is. This is like my thumb in the brace, so that when he's wearing that, my thumb is constantly pressing on it. You can get this at Walgreens, or you can order that online. It's just a golfer's elbow brace. It straps around your arm, but in it there's a little bit of a, what do you
Almost like a cushioned pad, or a thin, maybe a little bit thicker pad.
Yeah, and what that pad does, your battery's dying. What that pad does is it holds on to the belly or the body of the epicondyle, and again it does exactly what I was doing with that rolling pin that you saw me doing earlier. And what you do with that is, let's strap you on. So what I was telling you was how this has a little hard kind of ball, kind of a thumb kind of deal, you know, and what you, there's a name for it, it's slipping right now, but that's what I wrap around his arm. Move that.
All right, slide it down.
Yeah, so I wrap that so that is complete, and you tell him how it feels with that on there.
So then would you strap it on pretty tight?
You wrap it on pretty tight, but you want to make sure that that thumb thing that we had in there is pushing onto the belly. It's pushing onto the belly of the epicondyle muscle. That is if you had a golfer's elbow. If you had a tennis elbow, then of course we turn it around so that it's on the belly of that lateral epicondyle. What does that feel like on you? Do you feel that thing in there? Do you feel that, though we could make it tighter? Of course, muscle guy over here. We can make it tighter.
There we go, now I can feel it. Especially when I start to flex.
Yeah.
I can feel it pushing back. So did someone wear this while they're like lifting weights?
Absolutely. Or you wear that when you're the most unstable, which is when you're just doing activities of daily living.
Sorry, no.
Yeah. But when you're working out, it helps if if it hurts while you're doing the workout, it means the muscle is pulling on that low. If it hurts while you're working out, it means it's hurting where the muscle originates from. Mm-hmm. So that's when you wear it. If it doesn't hurt, good. But this you wear when you're just moving around the house or doing anything else, so that this can rest, because every time you do that, it tugs on that. So this cuts off that, okay, so that it's not tugging onto where the origin of the muscle is.
All right. And then for exercises, is there anything that they can do?
Yeah, for exercises,
like
you do those.
Wrist curls, forearm curls, you could grab a dumbbell, a barbell.
Which is what we're gonna go do next.
All right, well, we're gonna hop out to the gym.
Yeah.
Single or double?
I like single to focus on, because this one is not injured, that one is not injured, and this is injured. So I like single. As he's doing that, I like the single forearm, because it gives you a chance to know if you're hurting it or not, yeah? But also at the same time, if you have an injury, I like it to roll off my fingers all the way to the end of my fingers, and and then you're getting a full range of motion with that. There you go, and you can see he's wearing that strap. And the strap helps so that if it was injuring his forearm, he cuts the muscle pulling off on the point of insert or of origin, where the muscle originates from. All right, good. And that's what I would do to help heal that. Now, depending on how much injury you have, you make the weight lighter or not. Lighter or heavy. That's it.
And then, did you want to do?
Yep, reverse. For the lateral epicondylitis, if you have a tennis elbow, you go the reverse. You want to go the 10?
I might have to grab a 20 for the reverse.
So now this is for the lateral epicondylitis. This is the outside muscle. There you go.
Makes your veins pop though.
I mean, the blood wants to go up against that gradient of the belt. The belt has created a gradient, so the blood vessels have nowhere, the blood in the blood vessels have nowhere to go, so they kind of trap. But this is for someone who has a tennis elbow. There you go.
Flip it to the other arm. And this is what it looks like with no strap.
And you can see there's better circulation in there. Look at the difference. Look at the veins on one hand and veins on the other. All right, that's good. All right, now I'll let you go do the talking, all right? And that's how we did with lateral epicondylitis, medial epicondylitis, or golfer's elbow, or tennis elbow. Good luck. Thank you. So a subluxation or a disorder of the joint of the elbow, what happens is, because this muscle is so tight, it pulls, see, this attaches to the humerus, and because it's tight, it pulls the humerus forward a little bit. It glides. See, it goes here, so the muscle attaches to that part of it, and if that is tight, it pulls the antebrachium forward. So the adjustment is to do what? Is to traction it out and bring that back. So what I do is I grab there's a process on the brachium or the antebrachium, and what I do is I rotate it and I lock it, and as I do it, I'm tractioning it that way. I'm not teaching you how to adjust, but that's how I adjust the elbow. Now, if I move it hard enough, it will pop, but we're not trying to do that today. But that's how we adjust that. Okay, it's there. Actually, it relieves there. All right, cool. That's it.
All right.
Now you can let's put that back on for you.
All right. So yeah, you can see
the braid hat. There it is. That's the lateral epicondylitis.
There you go.
Not many people have that. Not many people have that. You're a blessed guy. So we're gonna put it on that muscle if you can see it.
See if we can.
Yeah, that's where we want to put the belly. We want to put the little knob that's within the strap, and that's what kind of holds on to that, so that when he's curling, it's not tagging onto the attachment. And you can see, because that's tight, you can see this is beautiful. This is like a diver, but it's alive, and it pulls that humerus forward, and that's what we don't want. And when he curls, it hurts because it pinches some of the nerves that come through there, the radial nerve and the ulnar nerve that run through. There's a little score that runs through there.
Do you usually see people getting this on their non-dominant hand?
Yes.
Like you see golfers, they get it. If they're right-handed, they get it a lot.
No,
on their left hand.
No,
it's pulling
if they're
through.
right-handed, they'll get golfer elbow.
Yeah.
If they're left-handed, they'll get this.
Oh,
elbow.
okay.
It's always the opposite, because you are going in the vector or the direction of the opposite of what your strong hand.
So yeah, it's usually my left, right here, golfer's elbow, or tennis elbow.
Tennis elbow.
Tennis elbow on the left hand.
Even though you're right-handed.
But I'm right-handed.
Yeah.
and I only feel it on like
Yeah, because that's the weakest side.
biceps. So yeah, I was wondering if I just need to do like some extra sets of like
the single arm on the, yes.
Curls or tricep extensions or
If I were
forearm,
you, and
wrist curls.
so the idea is what you're trying to do, that arm, no matter how much pressure you put on your right arm, it's evenly distributed between the brachium and the antebrachium.
Yes.
There's unevenness on that, in the sense that you might be stronger here on your forearm than your bicep.
Yes.
And because of that, it overrides your biceps by pulling. And that's why there's that tension in there. So what would I say you do more of? You do isometric bicep workouts.
Okay.
Meaning you tie a therapy band to that and you just hold it so that this is not moving, but that is burning. That's how you would do. Therapy band would be a good one for you. And I would do those. And then I'd hold.
For a time, hold it for a time?
Yeah, hold it for a time until that kind of feels it. That's how you want to do it. And then what you do next is you stretch your tricep so that this does not also pull it further back, because this tricep also keeps pulling it down.
So he's saying this, we'll pull this.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my specific setup, I would say that my forearm and my shoulder and my rear delt are more powerful than my bicep.
Exactly.
So if I'm curling heavy, my bicep and my forearm will take over, whereas my right bicep can handle the 60, 70 pound dumbbell curl just fine.
Yeah.
It's the left side that can't handle it.
Well, there you go. So you have to make that stronger to even that out. And the reason why you're having lateral epicondylitis is because the bicep is not as strong as that. You need to overcome the strength of that. And a therapy band would be good with its isometric. Your joint is not moving at all, but the bicep is working.
So would you recommend doing that after you've done your 3 or 4 sets, or do it before?
Before. 2 sets of that, just to kind of get this into it, and then go with that. Thank you.
And there we have it. That's the episode we have for you today. Hopefully this helps. Tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, very common amongst all type of athletes. You find it in bodybuilding, especially people who are going heavy all the time. But I hope this works. Hope you learned something today. And until the next time, peace.